Into the SorareAndrews podcast brought to you by SorareData. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined as always by Andy Black, who you can find as Black on Sorare. We are coming to you obviously live on YouTube here, so thank you to everybody who has already hit up on the chat. We've got Misaki is always pretty quick on it. Actually beat Mike Baston this week. Mike's usually the first one in, but not this week, Mike. You got to work a little harder, I think, next week. Daniel Croydon, we got Predictology, Matty Boy. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have already liked the first 37 seconds of this, if you could just hit the like button below. I assume you're all already subscribed, so thank you for doing that. But Andy, we had a big SorareData announcement today, and it's a question that like people have been asking me all the time. When are the SorareData leagues coming back? Are they going to be back soon? Because the leagues are coming back. Andy, they're back. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. But I noticed it wasn't really that big of an announcement. It was I think you guys just tweeted like something's back or they are back or something.
They're back.
They're back.
There was a subsequent tweet that showed that they're back. So they're really back. But for everyone who is watching or listening and is not familiar with these, because you're kind of new to Sorare, these are basically third-party competitions that SorareData sets up, and we break them down in a number of different leagues and in terms of regions and whatnot. We have SO5, there's some SO11 options as well, which includes subs for people who want to take that. But the big change this year or this time around, obviously, is the availability of limited leagues, which we haven't had limited cards in SorareData cups or leagues yet. So those are available now. So if you go to SorareData, and there's actually a link in the description of this video, I'll put a link in the audio versions as well. I don't know how easy those things are to click through, but if you are checking this out on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you just go to the play area on SorareData and then gaming arena, you'll see the big list of the 11 cups that are available to play. So you can play, just Champion Europe, just Challenger Europe, just Jupiler. Like we've got a whole bunch of different ones. And then obviously the biggest one is the SD League. And these are leagues where you can use your own cards to compete against everyone else in just kind of another competition. And there are actual prizes for these. I had somebody ask me earlier today if they were like putting their cards up as like bounty almost, and it was like no, you keep your cards. It's just another way that you can get some utility out of your cards, but I don't think we're remotely close to offering bounty leagues for cards, so no worries about that. Andy, have you entered all 11 yet?
No. I need to set reminders up like on my phone for Monday night and Thursday night, because there's so many things to do. Like, first of all, I got to do all my Sorare lineups. I have to do whether I want to do training, and which I usually save training for the end because I hate it so much. And then I'll get distracted with the training, and there's Mega, and then there's the SorareData stuff that comes back. A lot of times I'll forget. And honestly, like the prizes and the SorareData stuff are really good. Like if you're a new user, new manager, even with a smaller gallery, you can come into these cups and win stuff. Whether it's cups or the league. I think my first year in the league, I entered every tournament and did like decent. I didn't like win the league or anything. I finished in the top whatever percent, and I won a Sven Botman. Like, wow. That was a great card to win. Yeah. And it's not like I came in first or second even. It was like first. I was like the top whatever percent, and it was really nice. So new users, definitely, if you haven't used it yet, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, there's no reason not to play. That's kind of the way I put it.
Right.
I believe they're only weekends though, so you don't have to worry about Mondays. Usually, you can obviously double check. If you go to that gaming arena link on SorareData, like it'll show you the ones that are coming up. So if you just check it, but I'm fairly certain we don't do midweeks just because the number of cards that are available.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just not as big. So I do remember the winner of the last Challenger Europe won. So I think it was like cup number 2, won a Morioka rare. Oof. Like these are like legit prizes that we've seen in the SorareData Cup. So like I said, they're free to enter. They're all here right on SorareData. You're there already most of the time. So just enter those. Obviously, you're going to be competing against everybody, the best managers on Sorare. I'll say the non, I think we're calling them rare plus, but basically all cards that are non-limited, the powers are all the same. So there's no benefit necessarily to using a super rare over a rare. You just kind of need to have the card. So that kind of helps to even the playing field, I guess. It's a little bit kind of like the special weeklies that we see on Sorare, minus the limited cards. But
the big advantage to the league is you do get sorted into a like a division.
In the SD league you do, yes.
So you may not have to play like elite competition if you start off in amateur. Or, I don't know all the different divisions, but if you start off in one of the lower divisions, you're probably not playing against guys or whales that have Messi and whoever else. So
yes. XMK Productions in chat was saying I should have held this back until MLS in Asia returned. And to be honest, I definitely should have pushed harder for that for myself, less for the Asia cards. But yeah, hopefully I can last until, gosh, it's like another month. It's just an eternity in Sorare. But yeah, hopefully I can last long enough that I can actually use like the best cards that I have. So all of this was not the topic for tonight, but we wanted to talk about that right away, just because there are some people who didn't necessarily see the announcement. So there are, you can dive right in on those. So Andy, I wanted to talk about this topic. I was saying to you, I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it this week, but to be completely honest, I didn't have anything else I wanted to talk about. And this was just kind of like fresh in my head. And it was basically there are a lot of people who play Sorare differently. Like there are some who are they're all about SO5, and whatever they're going to do, they're going to play the best SO5 scores. They don't care who the players are, but they just want to win the most cards. And there are others who, like to find some hidden gems that, maybe some 17, 18-year-old kids who might be able to pay off one day. And they just have this longer time frame of ROI. And I feel like I don't necessarily go back and forth because I'm mostly SO5 focused, but there have been these moments where I buy they're not even collectible cards is the worst part. I'm just buying joke cards, but I buy things that any ETH I spend on those take away from my SO5. And so, but I don't necessarily want to give up on those as well. So I'm hoping that you can tell me just to stop doing one, or just it's okay to do both. That's what I'm getting out of this podcast.
Oh boy. I think that there's just so many cards that fit into that category where they're highly collectible and you think that you can compete with them, but you really can't. Where if you have a ton of money, and you want to collect those cards, then fine, but they probably shouldn't go into your lineups every week. Like Cherky, for example.
I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, and I don't want to call out I guys, but I think it is. I think there are a lot of good examples of those types of guys where I don't think it makes sense to play him every week. There might be weeks where it does make sense, the matchup, or you have some news that he's going to start, but I almost feel like if you want those guys, you should just buy them later and buy cards now, all depending on the manager you are and your budget.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford to submit lineups with a player that's not starting all the time, then you should buy players that can compete now. And if you want Cherky, buy Cherky later.
It's funny that we went to Cherky, because Cherky, we didn't even talk about Cherky before this. He wasn't, but he is such a prime example that there's this huge, well, it's probably not huge, but there's this very vocal group of Sorare users who are very pro Cherky and just think that he's going to be the thing one day. And
he very well might be.
He could be,
I'm not
absolutely.
saying that he's like a bad player. Like he's not a good prospect.
Yeah, I will also drop this because he's dropped it on me a few times. But Sean, PSU fans too, got his like referral reward was Cherky, and I referred Sean, and he got Cherky, and I got Kareem Demirbay, which yay, yeah. A
Yeah,
little different,
yeah.
but anyway, but yeah, he's kind of an example of that. But it made me kind of think, and it's not necessarily the collectible that, because I think there's something different. Like I think buying a card of like a prospect now and selling later is different than like buying a collectible. Like I think
Mhm.
like the Legends cards are more collectible, or like the Player of the Year cards. That's kind of like something special as opposed to like whatever it is when you're buying like a young guy and hoping to pay off. But obviously, like the time frame for your ROI is much longer. But clearly, there are people who think like that upside is higher than just like grinding SO5 this entire time. But I've just like found myself with a little ETH lately because I've been selling a bunch of cards, and there are guys that I'm like, I'm not going to put this card in an SO5 lineup like anytime soon. But it'd be kind of cool to have it, and like maybe, and I don't know whether I should end up going through it or not.
I think until they have like a way of displaying those collectible cards like in a meaningful way, I guess maybe squads, but I don't know. I don't know that it makes a ton of sense. And if you feel like you're not going to be able to get the card, then you should get the card. Like if it's something real specific, like a one of the one of 100 or something, like if it's something that you don't think that you're going to be able to get at a later time, then you should get it. Otherwise, if it's just like mint 42 of Cherky or Paxton Aronson was another one that we talked about. Like I want Paxton Aronson. I don't own him yet, but it's not like a card I'll probably be able to use this year on like a regular basis. He might have moments this season. Hell, he might start. I don't know. But right, so a lot of people are banking on that. We'll see. But my opinion is like if I know that I can get him later, I should just get him later.
But so you're thinking like I'll get them later because you'll just buy them later.
Yeah, I just buy him later
Yeah.
and buy a card now that I can use. And
So
I'm
there's
going
not
to.
like right. It's not like let me get something else now so that I can win someone later. Like
Yeah,
obviously
I can't. I'm not going to bank on trying to win him.
you should buy as limited, and then you probably win as rare. We thought of that.
Maybe.
You were going to do that with Messi, right? Or Mbappe?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who has a Paxton Aronson card, but I bought it months ago. But like that was like I remember buying that card. I actually didn't spend that much on it, so it wasn't like
You've
I
probably
did.
10x'd on that card, I would guess.
Um, I don't even. I think I auctioned this card or got it. Let's see, 0.048 if you can see that.
Maybe not
121 bucks.
10x. You've done well.
I don't know what he goes for now.
Maybe
But
like
if anybody wants to give me like 3 ETH for it, he's yours. 1 ETH? Can I do 1 ETH? Anyone? Is this not the right way I was supposed to be plugging my cards?
I don't think that's how you auction your own cards.
Oh, no? Okay.
I don't think so.
No. I'm still new at this. But, 0.22? That seems pretty good. Where's my new here's another little thing that for those who are watching the stream, if you haven't seen this yet, there's now a marker on the price graph on a player if you've purchased or sold them. So this one happens to be in yellow. So that makes it look good. See, I can collect cards. How about that? I don't know.
I
But
do
yeah,
love
so
that feature. That is really nice to see.
what
Where
is?
you bought it at, where you sold it at, where it's at now.
Yeah, although I sent you one of my Raphael Boré, like here I sold and here's where the price is now. That's not as fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think but obviously if you wait to buy, you're not experiencing the ROI, like the ROI that you would think that you would get by buying now. So like, is your idea that the combined ROI of what you do with your ETH in terms of SO5 wins now, plus the smaller ROI, like it feels like obviously we just don't know. Like everybody's talking about these collectible cards. I remember one of John Nellis's like recent podcasts. He was talking about his a Ronaldo rare that he has, and it's from like his Ronaldo's first year on the platform. So it's the Ronaldo Juventus rookie, and he's like, I feel like this is going to be a collectible card one day, but he's like, I don't know how to, what it. We have no idea what it's going to be worth one day. I mean, it could be worth a ton. It could be worth not as much, but is the ton that it could be worth, like for people, maybe I can open this up that for people in chat, if you buy cards like this, but like if you are buying cards to be like, I'm going to sell them in X number of years, you have to think that that's worth more than what you can do with that ETH if you try to play SO5 that whole time, right?
I have a couple opinions on that. Like Ronaldo's a type of player right now where you get the utility and the collectability of the card. And kind of to Sam's point, it's simple, buy the cards that bring you joy. The nice thing about him is you can use the card in SO5, be competitive, and it's a collectible. I think that there's certain cards that kind of fit the bill of both, and he kind of does that.
He does it, yeah.
Mike had a cool question, just kind of going back real quick about a guy like Paxton. If he's transferred to a non-licensed club, is there any FOMO of that happening? And my opinion now is I feel like Sorare is just going to get every license. So I don't know. I have no more FOMO for those types of situations.
It's funny you say that because if it does happen, that means something went horribly wrong. Like he ends up in a league that's like really so far beyond that, like it's not even worth it.
Right. Like if he goes to the Turkish league, well, that's pretty well covered now. Belgium, like almost all those leagues have coverage. If he goes somewhere that's uncovered, where would that even be? Like Bundesliga 2 or something.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good point though. Like at some point we're expecting everybody to be minted. Daniel Croydon was saying, I have a few collectibles that I didn't wait to buy, and now I can't bring myself to sell. So the ETH is totally locked away. Like, I think that's exactly my point. That like, I don't know what I don't know if anybody does these with like an out. Like, what's the goal to get out?
Well, the other aspect to this too is, did you buy the player pre-hype or post-hype? Like Laird bought Paxton. If you look at that price graph, he bought him pre-hype. So I think that you're fine. That was a fine, like the decision to purchase that card was totally fine. 0.004 ETH pre-hype. You can buy it, hold, and I mean, if you wanted to profit now, you could take a profit.
Right.
If I bought Paxton now at 0.2, I just don't feel like I'm getting the utility for that. And how much higher can he go?
I mean, the moon, man. What do you mean? This guy's U23 for like a decade.
Short term, how much higher can he go?
Yeah.
Is there a better league for him to go to that he's just going to crush in the short term? Probably not. No. If he goes to like some big champion Europe team, the card's going to be dead for a long time. I just think that 0.2 is kind of like, I'm not buying him at 0.2.
I'm not selling at 0.2. I think that's kind of the weird thing. And obviously there are enough people who have bought and sold leading up to this. But yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, I didn't bring any of this up because I have zero intention of selling this card anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I also I'm not sure what what my out is. And I'm just not sure if people who collect cards have that in their mind of like, this card is going to be worth X one day, and if it gets there, I'm out. And oh my God, Quinny called him the Champion America Verts. That is, oh man, I wish I had never seen that. That's such a great, right there. That would be fun. Anyway, look at me. I'm like getting all fired up for somebody calling Packs and errors.
I guess the other cool thing about that card is it does have that rookie card foil thing on it, which just any other random young player doesn't always have that.
And that's the first year that Sorare did rookie cards. It's a Pax and Aronson and a Sorare rookie card.
Oh, please.
One ETH? No, not yet. What about it's the 10 of 100? He doesn't wear 10 now, but he might wear it one day. If he wears 10
maybe.
one day, I'm not into that at all. But if a player eventually wears the number, does that help me? Or, hypothetically, everybody else who owns collectible cards?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. But I'm in this point now, and it's actually less. I think the dangerous point is not necessarily, maybe it is kind of churky, but it's guys who everybody kind of feels like will be really good one day, but also plays right now that is not good. And my God, it's like the João Felix just jumps out with that. But like João Felix, Doku, like these are guys that generally lots of people think they will be great. And obviously they sporadically play now. Like they're not great yet, but they do play. So they're like really good, theoretically, really good collectible cards, but they absolutely murder SO5 lineups. So I don't even know if there's obviously people like those cards because they buy and sell all the time, but I just can't get myself around. Like if you don't have like a humongous budget, I feel like those cards are just killer. That's all.
So, yeah, you're not a big fan of Gary V's gallery then, huh?
But I would argue that his gallery makes more sense because he's not playing João Felix.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's how I would think. Does he just go by Gary V?
Quinny, what do you mean Doku is a killer, only goes to the very top?
7 cards, 31.
Oh, he does have a bunch of Mbappe's too, right? He's got three.
That's his entire gallery right there.
Yeah. It's very basic.
Do you think... I don't play around with uniques, but do you think a João Felix unique goes for more than 12.5 right now?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm not remotely...
Depends on who gets involved and how bad they want it.
I mean, he's got that stellar 44 L5, so somehow he's played 80%.
I can't. Are there rumors? Is he going to move this summer? Maybe.
João Felix?
Yeah.
There was one. Where was he rumored? I mean, there were the ridiculous Barcelona ones, but no, I don't think he's going anywhere. They need to play him and Cunha together. That's what Quinny told me. Doku. See, Doku needs another transfer. Doku just needs to stay healthy. Like if he's on the field, then he's fine. But I don't know. Gosh, I love this gallery. It's so absurd. Like he's not remotely close to an SO5 lineup.
No, not at all.
Yeah, there it is. Not making anything. I don't know. But like, so have you bought any cards like this? Less like collectible, like guys with 2 thumbs up, but like more guys that should be good in 5 years and you're just stashing away.
I mean, one of my first MLS cards, I really liked Paxton Pamukal that you actually have a card of and you had up on the screen a little bit earlier. And he tore his ACL and he's had some health stuff. And then last year, I don't know. I think last year was like the recovery from ACL year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He may end up being all right. He always kind of fell into that bucket for me where it was kind of a dream that he was ever going to do anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton of guys like that in my gallery, I guess.
So I looked over at the chat. Mike Baston was saying there was a rumor for him to PSG to replace Mbappe if he left. And
Hmm.
I know he was talking about Joao Felix, but you were talking about Paxton Pomykal, and I was like, wow, that would be something. I don't think Paxton Pomykal is going to PSG. He was one of my first purchases, Pomykal. And I remember when I did it, I was like, oh man, these European Sorare guys, they don't know anything about MLS. I'm going to clean up here. And I literally don't think I played him in a single lineup all year.
Yeah. Was he one of your early MLS guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see the date on this. March 4th, 2021, 0.11.
Yeah.
There's no way he's remotely close to that now. But I got this cool Wenpax squad, so that made me feel better.
Yeah, I'm just skimming through my gallery and just, I don't know. Kai Havertz, kind of.
Oh, kind of.
Well, I mean, he's not like 19. He's what, 22 years old, 23 years old now.
About that.
So he's not like I don't know. Like what's Jow, 2021?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah. Oh, I do have Sands. I think you have Sands as well, right?
I used to. I sold him.
Did you?
Dumb.
I'm surprised, Quinny, you watched that game. It's
I'm surprised he said something nice about him. Said he played well.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
We could talk about Rio and Gucci, and who else did they buy?
Yeah, so one other guy, I forget what
The guy that Maida, is it Maida?
Yeah, I think so. Escape Perez is saying we should buy Pablo Ruiz, which I have been telling some people in private, so I guess that's not private anymore.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Does I go to just take a quick look at his price right now?
Pablo Ruiz?
Yeah.
The deal on Ruiz is that the expectation is he like turns into Rusnak, but he does like more defensive work. Like he takes all set pieces and stuff. And I don't know. I like
I didn't
this.
realize he was that young.
Oh yeah, he's U23 too. I like this point from Swiss Mafia here. Buying collectibles involves less effort, but adds more risk, as in committing ETH to longer term of the platform. Better to make your ETH work for you and grind otherwise you're waiting for your output, which is true. Like, I think that's kind of the other thing is that you're not, if you buy a bunch of cards that you're hoping are valuable one day, all you're doing is spending. Like you could flip them, sure, but like ultimately you're still just spending. And that's kind of one of the things that I remember basically this time, I don't know if it was this time last year, but it was around now when like Top Shot exploded. And I remember people that I knew like spending thousands of dollars on moments. And they were like, no, I'm in this like for the long run. And then they sold like a month later. And they were like, no, that was a long time. And I'm like, oh, maybe my time scale is different from NFT. I didn't understand the time scale of NFTs. That long run is 30 days. But like, I don't know. So rare cards have to take longer because you need like someone's career to actually take off.
Yeah.
I don't know. In what way possible would a bunch of Wandos be usable? Although I joked about buying Wando the other day instead of Will Braun.
Yeah. Quinny mentioned Celtic stacks are going to take over. It's just a shame that the Rio card, you can only get the rare forward, right?
Yeah.
There's no midfielder card. The defenders are only the limited cards. What a hot mess.
It's frustrating. What was really frustrating about it is that they were like doing them at the same time. So like they made the point to do the limiteds as one position, but where did I want to go? Auctions here.
Well, and then every time Celtic gets the clean sheet, you're not getting the bonus on that card, which is probably going to hurt it pretty bad. I shouldn't say hurt it. You're just not going to get the upside of the defender card, I guess.
Right. Yeah, defender scored 62 and the forward scored 50. Like it's still a good all-around score for a forward.
Yeah.
But obviously you would prefer the defender. He was like one of my first U23 forwards. Maybe I'll still play him. Those scores seem fine.
He's
Although
only
given the
U23.
scores this past weekend,
he's only U23 until this summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
No more mints.
For now.
For now.
It's another one of those things where it's like I kind of said it earlier, but I'm not really buying into that whole like I'm gonna buy this guy because they're never gonna mint it anymore. And then they are like, oh, we have the Scottish Premier League now, and here comes 100 more Rios. Or like another good example would be all the guys with Bruno. And as soon as they announce Man U, if they do, here's another 100 of them. And there's only like 9 right now.
I was gonna say not even another 100. Like it's the first 100. Like we've never gotten remotely close.
There's like 8 of them that exist. Here's 100 of them.
I will say there will never be another minted U23 Rio Hatate.
Yeah.
How about that? There you go.
That's fair.
You even overshot it. It's 8 rares.
I know Sam just mentioned that he's leaving, but I don't know if you've seen some of his squads that he's built. He has like all of the Eredivisie rookie cards and all of the Bundesliga rookie cards.
Yeah.
And he's collected them, put them into squads. And
he did MLS too.
Did he? Yeah, that's right. That's
where he started. Yeah.
Is he missing any?
I didn't think so.
I guess if there's like the one-off in like a Turkish league or something, if you wanted to grab those or whatever, but I think that's the type of thing that's really cool. It'll be hard, I feel like, to like I don't know if that's something that like somebody's gonna like approach him to be like, I want to buy that.
To buy all of it?
Yeah. But I think it's really cool, and there's probably going to be cards in there that just turn into gold, but
or not.
Maybe, I don't know. The MLS one's probably not.
It feels like
the other 2 leagues, yes, definitely there will be.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things that you really, for at least MLS, you just need one, probably. I don't know what he paid for all of these, but like if Paxton Aronson becomes better than his brother, which he is, I swear he is, then
there's just something cool about having a complete set as well. If you wanted to just sell it bulk, somebody wanted to buy the complete set, you have it.
Yeah, like there's no reason to buy like a one-off, or maybe there's no reason for Sam to sell a one-off.
Yeah, right.
He's got the turned Charlie Setford too.
Is Sorare taking this long to load? Is that what's going on here?
Yes.
Huh. Is that a you thing or a them thing?
I usually try to think it's a me thing, and then they're like, I get messages from people like, Sorare slow for you? And I'm like, oh, I'll just pretend it's a me thing just to give them the benefit of the doubt. Been a rough day for them. And they're sleeping anyway.
Yeah, it probably has been a rough day for them. There's been a lot of little glitches and issues and whatever.
But they fixed them. They're on the case. But yeah, I love this idea. And it's obviously a little different. Like Sam's budget's a little different than certainly mine. But
once you get as high as he is, you can go out and do all these fun things.
Yeah. But like you could do it in limited pretty easily. All these guys are there.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's funny to think that like maybe one of these guys like becomes a star.
I just don't know.
A lot of people hope it's Setford. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I shouldn't say I don't know. Definitely where the platform is right now. I don't think that there's like an easy way to like present this to people and like put it up for sale. Beyond
definitely not
like sharing it, like posting it like somewhere. If there was an easy way to just be like, I have a complete set and it is for sale, you can buy it for this price. I feel like there'd be more, I don't know, reasoning behind this or appeal to this or a better way of displaying it from Sorare's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And someday maybe maybe we'll get there. I don't know.
I mean, you could just individually remove each one from Sorare and sell them all on OpenSea.
Oof. And a bundle on OpenSea. Yeah.
Right. Pay gas fee for every single one of them, one by one.
Yeah.
Seems fine.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that's part of a plan. Like I have to believe that's written down somewhere in a Sorare office that they're going to let people sell bundles of cards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in theory, you can make that transfer. You just
Sure.
can't list them for sale.
Right. But I'm saying I think there's somewhere that somebody at Sorare is like, we should allow people to sell packs of cards at some point.
Right.
I'm not saying they're working on it. I don't know anything about it, but I need to believe that somebody is there has the idea or has
Right.
seen the idea in one of the feedback channels that, because I know I've seen people suggest it in the Discord. And so it's got to be somewhere. I can't imagine, like, I would assume that even if they never want to do it, the answer would still not be no. They would still like look to do it. And if it just like doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense.
I've always seen the people wanting to auction their own cards off.
Yeah. Well, you can do that on OpenSea too, right?
I guess.
I'll be
That's
honest.
something that you would want to do?
I mean, I mean, why not? Like if you had the option of like, I want to sell for this price right now, but if there are like two people who want to fight for it, like you're going to be like, no, one of you can have it for this price.
Yeah, I guess if you could set up, if it was like fully featured and you could set up like a reserve
Right.
on a card, you could set up a buy it now on the card and then
Yeah.
start the auction at 0.01 and let people go. Like, I'd be all right with that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I don't even think you necessarily need to start it at 0.01.
Well, just the option to start wherever you want.
Right.
Yeah, like make that variable and have all of those features, and I think that the market could be, I don't know.
My guess is that
user-friendly.
comes with them taking a percentage of whatever you make. Like at some point, I feel like we're all assuming that happens.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that not that we like should pay for, but like that's something that they're like, hey, this is new. There's a new way for you to do this, but we're going to take a little bit. And we'd be like, all right, I get it.
That's coming.
I would assume so.
When you look at the offer volume over the last, I don't know, month, it just makes me feel like it has to. That like they see that amount of money exchanging hands and they're not getting a piece of it at all. Why wouldn't they just be like, all right, 1% fee or whatever percent, I don't know. And like I don't know Top Shot, I don't know what their fee was. Le Boom right there. Although that's auction.
Oh, there we go. This part is really good.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it is a lot. I mean, it costs them. It's not even like they're not getting any money for it. It still costs them. Like even with Laird 2, isn't it there's still a cost somewhere?
Yeah, I think
like everything went magically for free.
I think it's pretty minimal. But part of those offers are cards that are not on Laird 2 yet. So that transaction to get them onto Laird 2 does cost fees. So you're right, that it does cost them money.
Like a 2018-19 Morioka, for example.
Yeah. You want to talk about that card? That's a collectible and a card that you can use in SO5 now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, do we actually call Jimmer out? Oh,
you just did.
Whoop.
You just did.
But anyway, someone we know sold a 2018-2019 Morioka and a 2018-2019 Hans Van Aken, who's at level 20. So
were they both at level 20?
What's that?
Were both cards at level 20?
I feel like it was only Van Aken. I didn't think Morioka was.
Okay.
Only because I remember him saying once that he doesn't train Van Aken anymore because he doesn't need to.
I can't fathom the Morioka not being level 20.
You would think so. Well, it's not level 20 anymore. Right. Or actually, I guess.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, but you're right. That was a collectible. That was like, but so that's what I was. I actually talked to Jimmer a little bit about this because like that card, and we've talked about this before. I feel like when did we talk about this? It wasn't with Nell. Oh, it was when we had the guy from Crypto Slam, whose name is like
Right.
escaping me now. But he was saying like he was more interested in like Sorare collectible cards, like the first Sorare card that did like XYZ or whatever it was. But like that early Morioka is like it's like an early error card too, no less.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I don't know that it's an error, is it?
well, yeah, because he's in an Anderlecht shirt and it has the Charleroi logo.
Right. I don't know that that makes it an error, right? That was just
It's
the picture that they had.
I mean, he's not on the team.
Yeah, but that was the picture that they had at the time.
The transfer knocked him down to level 15.
Yeah.
So, and Pap just came in from the top rope. He's got the 1 of 100 2018-19 Morioka.
That's pretty cool.
I actually saw that earlier today and was going to bring it up. So Swiss Mafia says, besides the big boys, Mbappe, etc., who ticks the collectibles box for you, but also offers utility? Jonathan David, the big one for me. Do Morioka, Vanaken last the test of time? So my response to Jimmer was like, when all is said and done, nobody's going to want a Morioka card. Like, I think the only way
You
that
truly believe that?
I do. And I think, no. I don't think it's nobody. But I think the number of people who, if you literally were like, today, you were like, I want to give you a Morioka card, everybody says yes. And in 10 years, you're like, I want to give you a Morioka card. And I think a lot of people are like, who? What? Why? Like, sure, I'll take it's free. But like, I think there are enough people like who won't care. But like, I think the Sorare OGs will care. So there will always be like this little bit of collectability in that standpoint. But I think the number of users on the platform who will care about Morioka in 5 years is minuscule.
Yeah.
He's already over 30, right? So like, and so yeah, I don't think he's collectible at all. Like realistically.
Pap, that 2018-19 Vanaken, I did not know that was or you're saying the 1 of 10. Okay. So I know the guy that has the 1 of 100, but that's a little different, I think. He was involved in another crypto project that a bunch of us played in or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's enough OG guys that think that those cards are cool to kind of want them, and then there's the people that just I don't know that I that whole I see that you want the thing, so I should want the thing, kind of plays a part here. I think Vanaken definitely kind of fits that bill. He's I don't know a platform card. Morioka, I feel like, is getting to be that way where he's just so good on the platform that people are going to want it, whether he's playing or not.
Right.
And I assume at some point he goes back to J League, right?
I would assume so.
I don't know. I don't know him, his story, anything about him, but
oh, this isn't loading for me. Yeah, I think it makes like I guess there are now enough people like there are enough OGs that cards like that will always have collectability.
yeah.
So maybe I'm selling it short, but like whatever like Morioka is now like 1.8, 1.7, 1.8, like from a collectability standpoint, like that there's no way that's worth it, right?
Going back to Swiss Mafia's question, though, is there any other cards that kind of fit that bill for you that are both collectible and useful in SO5? And to me, it's hard to like say to pull the big guys out because I think that they still matter.
Sure.
I guess just the obvious is they all are yes.
Yeah, I guess the way that I was looking at it is just the like the big boys are collectibles because that's who they are. They're the big boys.
Right.
And so once you get out of that, like once you stop thinking of them as like now that I'm like, oh, if it's not one of the big boys, then is this guy collectible? But like I think if they're actually collectible cards, then they're one of the big boys. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. How about my answer to that would be any player that plays on a national team. I kind of feel like fits that bill a little bit.
Like
They
any
have,
national team?
well, a lot of national teams,
Mm-hmm.
international teams. Um, like Weston McKennie, for example. He's been decent the last few weeks in SO5, but he'll always have that appeal of being a U.S. men's national team player.
Yeah, yeah, for some certainly. And I guess it
You don't
makes
want to
sense.
agree with that.
I I think
Go on, let him have it.
no. It's not anything like that. It's just like I'm just not sure if in 10 years there are enough people who care.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there you go. Chris brought this up. What about World Cup final goal scorers? Like, are you buying a Mario Götze card because he won the World Cup for Germany? Are Germans doing it? Where's
I don't know.
Niftio? He's not in right now. Niftio, if you're listening
Or
or watching
Champions
this,
League
let me
winner,
know.
right?
I don't know. I have struggled. I think the reason we don't know is because like Sorare just hasn't been around long enough
Yeah.
to know like what the true collectability of these cards are. But I'm just there. You go. Chani says he's German. He couldn't care less. Okay.
It's funny because the more people that you ask those types of questions to, the more answers I hear like that, where it's just like, I don't care.
But we obviously care at some point. Like I mean,
I
you
think a
care.
lot
Are
of
you
people
going to buy the
don't care.
McKinnon card in 10 years?
Am I going to buy a McKinney card? Well, I already have one. Why would I buy one?
Oh, all right. Are you going to buy Sean's unique
No.
after he retires? Meaning after McKinney retires, not Sean?
What's weird about that answer is I would if he was wearing a U.S. men's national team kit. And I hate to be that guy that like says that matters, but it does kind of matter. Like that Messi I bought, I think it's a cool collectible, and I'm going to use it in SO5.
Oh, you're going to
He's
be
got a
so
PSG
pissed.
kit.
I think. What do you think is? I know. I think it's a very clear answer, and it's probably not even worth it. But like, if he goes back to Barcelona, and they sign the Argentina national team, is the Barcelona one more valuable?
I don't know. They're both more valuable than the PSG.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
That's where I was going with.
Yeah, yeah. So, why did you pull these Hans Van Aken cards up?
That's what we were talking about. I finally pulled it up. That's
Yeah.
the one of 10 right there.
Gotcha.
This one right here.
So, that was the first card ever minted?
That's what Pap said, right? Or maybe it was the first one ever sold.
No, I think he said that somebody else was the first card ever sold. Now plays in Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
He's a collectible with zero utility. I wonder who that is.
awesome.
Pap, who is that?
Midron? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And then
I'm trying to
Van Aken,
think.
the 1 of 10, was the first card ever issued by Sorare. Pretty cool.
That is cool.
And it is cool that it's him that was the first one ever issued. I mean,
Because it just started, yeah.
the Lord, man.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't following Jupiler League back then, so I don't know if he was like easily the best player there.
I think the 2018, I think 2018 and 2019, he won the Golden Boot, maybe both years. He was crushing.
First one minted.
At least one of those years he won the Golden Boot.
All right, that's fair. So we have Swiss Mafia is now moving the goalposts here regarding the Mario Götze card. What about if it was printed that year of the goal with a video clip? Like theoretically, that's where they're going. This Bundesliga like moments thing on the back of cards. So I'm trying to think of like who.
Unpopular opinion, real quick. I don't care about moments at all. Zero care about moments.
I think you're completely wrong.
I probably am, because people obviously cared on Top Shot.
Well, that's true too. I think you are going to love them.
Really?
Yeah.
All
like
right.
I think the first time that you have like a player, you're gonna like the first time you have a player with a moment or something like happens, and you happen to be like watching the game. Yeah, you're just gonna I'm in. You're gonna love it.
Wait, my thing's worth more now.
Well, yeah,
that too. I love this. Look how awesome it is.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, we obviously have no idea what their plans are, but like, if you have your Messi card there and he has some like ridiculous goal, and then all of a sudden there's a moment attached to your card, like that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to have to buy whatever it is. It's not going to just like magically appear on my card.
I don't know. I mean, no, none of us know. So. So, what were we talking about before? Oh, the Götze card. Yeah, so like if Neymar scores you wouldn't buy that, a Neymar card, but if he scored the winning goal of the World Cup this year, I don't think maybe Brazil wins. Who knows? I don't know, but I guess that these so that Hans Van Aken 1 of 10 is the first card ever minted on the platform. And
it should be worth 100 ETH. I'm serious.
If that's worth 100 ETH, what's the 2 of 10 worth?
Whatever
a super rare costs, right?
Worth, yeah.
Right.
But if it's the first card minted on the entire platform, then it's a 100 ETH card. Who owns it?
Pap.
Oh, Pap.
He just came into the chat to start pumping his most
cards.
Valuable card. Do you think that's the most valuable card on the platform?
Yeah.
It's got to be in the conversation, right?
Yeah. It's the first
Literally
one.
The first one?
The first one.
These are fun cards.
We're going to make a lot of people angry.
Why?
Because we said that cards were the most, I don't know, most expensive card on the platform. I don't know. Paps certainly hopes. I don't know what's better. What's better than that?
That's sort of my question. Obviously,
an Mbappe unique, maybe. I don't know.
What's funny? So what's even better is that card is more valuable than the unique, right? Like you're not, you don't think anybody's spending.
Sure. Yeah, the first one to ever, yeah.
The first one right off the printing press.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know. Why are there no Van Akens for this year? Why are there no super rares?
He got limiteds, right? And then
he was late.
They all came out late.
Yeah, he was late.
Because he was on national team duty, so he probably wasn't there for picture day. Because he's with the Belgian national team.
Why is that a thing? He's got new rares.
Yeah.
A bunch.
Is that?
I don't know. I think. Yeah, I'm curious to see, and obviously this is not something like we will know at any time soon, but I'm curious to see like the collectability of Hans Van Aken Sorare cards in the future. Like I think he's more interesting than Morioka, because I really do think that Moriokas are just going to be worthless. I have a
Yeah.
Morioka limited. I don't expect to be able to sell that after he retires. That's all. Speaking of limited cards, this is amazingly off topic since I feel like we've gone pretty far actually staying on topic here. Do you think that Sorare can be a success, can be considered a success if they don't have another scarcity?
Hmm.
I asked this to somebody the other day. I actually didn't ask it. We were talking about it, and I said, if they don't come out with another scarcity, I think something went terribly wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Swiss Mafia is leaving to go watch
It's a good
reruns of the
question.
Get Skull.
Uh,
Gertza, excuse me. I don't know. I feel like
I don't have an
the
answer, I don't think, because I
the
mean,
reason,
to go to 10,000, that's a lot of growth.
yeah.
But I feel like for all of the, if you want the game to be as big as it possibly can, you need all of those low budget players to come in,
Mm-hmm.
like people that want to come in and spend $50
Mm-hmm.
and be able to play, compete, do whatever. Like that's your FIFA Ultimate Team target audience, where they can come in, maybe not buy packs, but spend as much as they were going to spend on packs on a couple of players that they can
Mm-hmm.
submit in lineups. Yeah, maybe you're right. Because
So
right now we're at the point of limiteds where we were last year with rares,
yeah,
price wise.
I I kind of wonder what they thought the price point would be for limiteds. Meaning,
Yeah,
like, if they were like, we need to come out with another scarcity so that people with $50 can play. Because if that's the case, like, we already need a new scarcity.
yeah,
That's all. Like, you're not playing anything for $50 right now. And one of 10,000 does it. I don't know if it has to be such a round number. I'm assuming they do. That's just so many cards.
I don't know how you sell that many cards without it just being a complete hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe you don't have that main market page and you just go to the player page of who you want.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. They're auctioning 100 every day.
Or dude, and I think that this could be the solution down the road is you don't have a like limit on the cards, or you have a limit that's like ridiculous, like 100,000 or something, and certain cards are like flat rates based on tier.
I think we kind of thought they might do that with limiteds.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
So 2 points in chat. I like this. Mike was saying people can play with $50, they just can't compete. So I do think that's a problem. Like, not that it's too much work to figure out how to make $50 work on Sorare. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think it's not worth, if you only have $50 to play Sorare, it's not literally not worth your time to do it, which sounds awful, but like, I'm just not sure. It becomes an extreme hobby. And the other one was from Chani, was saying putting money on the platform just needs to be easier. And that I completely agree with. I say that as somebody who's only put money on the platform once, meaning like actually bought ETH and like transferred it
yeah.
over. We've talked about this before, but like I bought most of my early cards just directly from a credit card.
And I've heard people like Ramp is supposed to make it easier, but I've heard a lot of issues with people trying to
Yeah.
get money on with Ramp, and yeah, I haven't used Ramp, so I have no idea. But
Me
I've
neither.
just heard a lot of complaints.
I saw that they're available in 38 states in the US now. So that's like progress. But yeah, I've never.
Yeah,
And XMK Production said withdrawing should be easier too. That I think is almost more important than making it easier to put money on the platform. Obviously, Sorare would prefer you do the opposite,
right.
but I agree. Like the the idea of like withdrawing your money and then having somebody be like, "It should be with you soon," and you're like, "Well, how long?" And they're like, "Anywhere from 15 minutes to 3 hours," and you're
It's
like,
on the blockchain
"What?
now.
What does that mean?"
Right. Yeah, I don't know that you can see that transaction either. Maybe you can't. It's been a while since I've withdrawn, so like I don't know. Do they give you the transaction hash? Yeah.
I've never withdrawn. To
Yeah.
be honest, one of the reasons I have not withdrawn money is because of how difficult it is to do it. Like Sorare has me locked in until there's literally a single button that says like withdraw, and it shows up in my bank
And you
account.
like type in your routing number for your bank.
Something, yeah, yeah.
I saw this come up the other day. Do you think that there should be either stable coins, or do you think there should be a way to move your money into like just say I want to move into US dollars?
On Sorare?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
No.
I
Do
don't.
you think it'll happen?
I think that there is.
Like, what if you looked at your balance in the top right hand corner
Mhm.
and you had your ETH balance, you had your euros balance, and you had your US dollar balance, and you could flip between any of those kind of on the fly?
I think that sounds great, but I also think that there is an element to Sorare that makes you not forget, but makes you ignore how much money you're actually spending. No. I'm like really, I'm actually serious about this.
No, I think I know where you're going, and I think you're right.
And I think it's in Sorare's best interest to not make it be like you're spending $3,000. They're like you're just spending 0.7 of something, and you're
Yeah.
like okay. Somebody, I forget who it was. It was around Christmas time. They were, oh, maybe it was Mel, and she was saying like she wanted to get a PlayStation, whatever they're up to
I
now.
remember seeing that.
And she was like, I'm not going to spend $500. And somebody was like, would you spend 0.03? And they're like, sure. Like, or 0.3. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So
That's
I do
pretty
think
good.
there's something like that. And I think part of the reason I am like hesitant to say like, yes, go with a stable coin is that I'm just not familiar enough with crypto enough to know, like I know what a stable coin is, but I, I don't know if that would help or hurt.
Yeah.
And
I think that there's an
Johnny thinks
entire
it would be amazing. So
I think there's an entire like psychology that is being studied for this exact thing based on microtransactions, mobile games, and uh, um, I know that there's like studies out there doing exactly what you're talking about, where these game developer teams and companies are really having to make decisions based on that. And I haven't read any of it, but I know that that's kind of out there.
yeah, I mean, I would have to think that it's in the best interest of the consumer to use whatever fiat currency
Yeah.
they use. Like for most people.
Then that's probably what's best.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I remember HG said a long time ago that he fully expected Sorare to give up on ETH, and I think he changed his mind on it. Not that he thought they should, but he thought that they would.
Yeah.
And there
Well, I
really
mean,
hasn't been.
the platform's still built on ETH,
Yes,
just
yeah,
as
sorry.
a currency
In terms of a
as an
currency,
in-game
yes.
currency.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
Right. The cards, I believe, will always be on the Ethereum blockchain. But in terms of an in-game currency, that we would move to fiat. And I do think that the more people that join the platform, they think in fiat. Like I think of like a stupidly vast percentage of new users think in fiat. And I think you have to be part of, just more comfortable with crypto to think in Ethereum in terms of a currency when you join the platform. And I don't think there are that many people. And I think the only way that Sorare gets to where they want to go is to think of all of the people who only think in fiat.
Yeah.
So yeah, China like brings up even things move faster and fees go down with ETH 2.0. But like, I even think that's another thing. Like the idea of having to pay somebody to move money, I think is really foreign for a lot of people. Like the
Yep.
idea that you have to do that. Like, why do I have to, I'm giving you, $1,000 and now 15 of that is going to somebody else just to move it. But I don't know. I don't know where we go in the future for that. This ETH 2.0 that I've heard about for 2 years.
Hashtag soon.
Right.
Progress bar. Hashtag soon.
Oh,
What else? There's other things too.
Was progress bar on the bingo card because we hadn't brought it up?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not going to bring up the progress bar, but I will talk about it next week. Let me write that down because I actually had something to say about it. We'll talk about the progress bar next week. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Can we announce the progress bar next week?
I want to talk about my new game mode next week, but I'll keep that to myself for now.
I think that's a great idea, actually. Next week, next week, let's talk about game modes, and we'll just come up with some. For anybody who is in chat, or anybody watching this, or anybody listening, if you have some game modes that you would like us to talk about, we would be happy to bring them up. And yours, I really like your idea. I'm also participating in it, so we'll figure that out. I like, before I drop this point totally, Pat made this good point that said as long as Sorare distribute ETH thresholds, people are going to think in ETH, or people end up thinking in ETH after a while. Like that is kind of an interesting one of like if you're being paid in ETH, at some point you're just going to think in ETH. I don't know. How long of not winning anything does it take for you to quit Sorare? Oh. What if you sell your cards for double? Does that mean it's bad? That's a whole nother topic. But I guess that's back to this SO5 FOMO and collectible FOMO.
That's where I think a game modes discussion could be fun, because I think that thinking of the game the way it is now, where I don't know, we think of it as very pay to win. You have the best players, you're gonna win. You're gonna win the most. There are other game ideas that might kind of like, I don't know, buck the trend.
Meaning, are you just previewing your game mode?
Kind of, but also like there's plenty of ideas out there that of things where it's maybe not score the highest score, hit a certain score, or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think the most valuable ideas are those that make terrible cards valuable. Like I think those game modes are the most important thing for Sorare. Yeah. Because they have more, I'll just call them tier 3, but they're really tier 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those cards than anything else. And if those are literally worthless, then that's bad. So if you could create a game that makes them valuable, then that's it.
Well, especially when there's so much strategy behind those sorts of things, where it might be a bad player with a bad matchup. Like you have the perfect combination for a bad score, but there's just lots of I feel like there could be so much creativity added there, and there's just they're not even doing it in their weekly challenges right now, which blows my mind. I feel like the weekly challenges are the most low effort things I've ever seen. Like, there's a lot of cool ideas that you could put into there, and it's just like, oh, we're gonna do L5 of under 50, and the players have to be playing an AFCON, and that's it.
And you can win IX cards now.
Yeah, and there is more out there. There's more data sets and data points that you can use besides L5 less than 50 and age over 30.
Well, not age over 30, age as of 30 years ago, right. As of July 1st. Yeah. I feel like the special weeklies used to be better. Were they not? Maybe I don't know. I feel like they were more gimme. I remember early on there was that goalkeeper one that the top 200 people won a goalie. And I was like, oh, I can win a goalie. And then I didn't. And I was like, oh, now I see how Sorare works.
Not to completely derail us, but what if it was as simple as submit a lineup, and if one of the players in your lineup gets a red card, you win a prize?
Yeah, I love it. You're right, though. You're right. Those are fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun idea. No, but I completely agree with you. Like, you could get real wacky with those things.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could even just.
I was going to say, let's save it for next week.
You're right. Sorry. Granted, Jock is not in the game. That's
yeah.
I think I would just be a lock every week for that one. But yeah, okay. So next week, we'll talk about game modes. I think this is the first time we've ever had a topic like a week ahead of time.
Yeah, we'll call it like the weekly challenge or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, this is, man. How about that? We can't just like roll into it. That's a problem. All right. But yeah, look at that. We're already over now. We can just stop it now and then we don't have to go in. So anyway, this has been the latest episode of the SorareAndrews podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I feel like we stayed on topic pretty well this week. And then we like came around back, previewed next week. This is like we planned this. My God. Anyway, if you've been watching this on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind taking that half a second to hit the like button, we would greatly appreciate that. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribing is always very helpful. If you're listening to the audio version of this, if you could please rate and review it wherever you listen, that would also be greatly appreciated. We'll be back next week with a fantastic topic about game modes. If anybody has any game modes that you would like to, I don't want to say pitch us because like we're not making the decisions, but if you'd like us to share
let's pretend like we are. We're the Shark Tank here, and they're pitching us their ideas.
There it is. And anything that is fun enough, if we could figure out how to play it, we would love to play it as well. So definitely send us any ideas that you have. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew M. Laird. Andy is at ablack86. We're also available in the Sorare Discord. I'm at Lairdinho or Andrew M. Laird. Andy is black, so that's easy to find him. But yeah, we'll be back next week. And don't forget to enter the SorareData Cups and Leagues. Again, the link is in the description, so hit those up. And good luck to everybody, and we'll see you next week.